welcome to Let's Play Gran Turismo 2, episode 16. So, if you have seen the previous segment, and of course, as usual, I do recommend you watch my previous segment before you watch this one, we are now officially 5 of 6 events down in the National Championships, and now of course we are going to move on to our final National Championship in the game. Our 6th and final National Championship in the game. And well, I had a look at the horsepower caps and I eventually decided overall I was going to be traditional and use all 3 of my cars. You know, just because I want to be traditional. With this essentially being the final National Championship in the game. So to start off, I'm going to use my Toyota Celica GTR for the first race, and then I'll probably use my Spoon S2000 for the second race, and then I'll use my Copperhead for the third race. That's essentially the way I'm going to do it. So, all 3 races are held at Deep Forest, and notably overall of course, the horsepower caps being 216, 295 and 443 being the horsepower caps for this event. And well, for the first one, I'm going to use my Celica, just because I want to. Also because, well, I want to be traditional. Because that is how I do it. And well, since I know the maximum horsepower cap is 216, I think I'm going to put my tuning on, you know, just in case I have any trouble. And I am still 3 horsepower underneath the maximum amount of horsepower I can have for one of these cars in this event. And so let's head right to the race and see if we can win on our first attempt. Hopefully we can, by the way. But the reason why I just figured I'd put on my tuning parts is essentially because, well, I want to be cautious. And we have an LDS4 in this field, along with some VW Golfs. Along with some VW Golfs, or a VW Golf I should say, with a VW Beetle, and 2 BMWs. Okay, so in this race we have an Audi S4, a Volkswagen Beetle, a Volkswagen Golf, and 2 BMW 8 Series, I think, is what those cars are. From when I had a look at the typical opponents for this race, 3 of those cars are Beamers. Over-revving a little bit there, at least I thought it was over-revving. But I think at the moment I'm okay. Everything appears to be okay at the moment. And I currently hold on to the lead. And well, I think I did make the right call. I think I did make the right call to put on the additional horsepower, you know, just because I figured I might as well be cautious. Because I would imagine with the final race I'll probably be struggling some, but we'll wait and see. Keeping in 3rd gear just so I don't miss a shift again as we head through the hairpin. And everything appears to be okay at the moment. I am at least managing to hold on to my position, and just as I figured, of course, these AI would probably catch me, which is essentially why I put my tuning parts back on. And so my choice to put those back on, like I said before, was proven to be the correct decision, and thankfully at least it is managing to give me some dividends as a result. And I may just be able to hold on for the race win. As at the moment I can see it's the Beetle that's currently in third, but I would imagine probably one of the Beamers might take it, or maybe they won't. But anyways, I win race 1, driving my Toyota Celica. The feeling of victory is mutual. And, oh, okay, correction, those were actually BMW 5 Series that I went up against. Yeah, BMW 5 Series. So in this field we had an Audi A3 this time. As I was incorrect with my models again. A Volkswagen New Beetle, which I did figure was one of the cars, was a Volkswagen Golf, and the two BMW 5 Series rounded out the field. 5:28 time, if you want me to be specific. But anyways, that was race 1. And a relatively easy victory overall once I put on the tuning parts. So let's move on to race 2, and of course for that one I'm gonna use my S2K. You know, just because I want to. So back over to my home page and my garage, and I'm going to switch over to the S2K. Heading back to the race events once again, and now of course we can get on with the second race of the German National Championships at Deep Forest, with a max horsepower cap of 295 horsepower, which I would imagine is just fine for my Spoon S2K. And so don't have any tuning on this thing, mainly because obviously I don't need any tuning. And so with that, let's head straight to the race and see how we do. For our second race of the German National Championships. So, I think I'll be okay in this race, mainly because I think I won't be struggling that much. And we also have a Vectra competing in this race. I think there's a... Oh, wait a minute, that's an Audi. Yeah, okay, so we've got an Audi A3, I think, is in this race, a Mercedes CLK 55, I have an Opel Vectra, I think is what that is, but I could be wrong. And I just collided with the back of a Mercedes CLK. Sorry, Mercedes SLK. And I'm on the inside of the Beamer, and I am up into the lead for the first time here at Deep Forest. to the start of lap 2, and all at the moment seems well. At the present time, all is going well. As I am currently holding on to the lead. At the present time in my Spoon S2000, and I am boofing the wall. And I may be able to win this, in spite of me running wide a little there, but thankfully managing to stay on track at least. And it is a victory in race 2 with my Spoon S2K. Oh, okay. It wasn't S3 this time. So we had a Mercedes SLK 230 compressor in this race, a Vauxhall Vectra GSI 536 in this race, along with a BMW 3 Series this time. Once again, myself being incorrect as usual. With a Mercedes CLK 320 Sport and an Audi S3 rounded out the field here in race 2. Well, I think I'm gonna save this one. You know, just because I've already got a fair number of shots of both my Celica and my Copperhead, so I shall use this one. For my replay clickbait. Now let's move on to the third and final race of the German National Championships. And for that event, of course, I am going to need my Copperhead. Considering the Copperhead is essentially the car I've used for most of the tuning. Well, I think I'll be okay tuning wise, but obviously I just need to put the tuning on in order to prove to you that I am competitive for this race. And also the reason why the maximum horsepower cap is 443 horsepower is essentially because we have an RUF in this field, or roof, if you want to be specific on how it's pronounced, but again, I prefer RUF because that just seems more traditional. So heading over to settings, just putting on tuning, because I will probably need that, and I would imagine I'll be okay in terms of horsepower. Just gonna check through. Yeah, I think I'll be okay for this race. So let's head to our third and final race of the German National Championships. Hopefully we can win on our first attempt, because that is an ILF. Okay, this is the BMW 5 Series. And I am already off to a poor getaway. Anyways, hopefully if it's possible I do have a competitive enough car for this event. And I do say hopefully, of course. I don't emphasize the word hopefully. And I'm already off in the grass. Probably because I was pushed off. Who knows? Everything at the moment is currently going well. And at the moment it is currently the IUF BTR2 that is currently leading this event. As I now overtake the Audi S4, I think that is. And I now need to close in on the BTR. And indeed, I am closing in on the BTR. And I have just taken the lead. Because even though he is officially probably more than 150 horsepower, even though he probably has about 150 more horsepower than I do, essentially overall with some decent tuning, it is possible to beat the IOF BTR. And also if you can avoid making mistakes as often as I do. But anyways, I now lead this race driving my Dodge Copperhead. And surprisingly, I have not had to spend more than just a couple of credits for the tuning to be put on this car, and also for it to be made competitive enough to officially win this race. So, heading through the final sequence of corners, as I'm now going past Sector 3 into the final corner, managing to get on the curbs at just the correct time, and it is 3 out of 3 victories to me. So, another clean sweep. And once again, you know what, I'm just not going to say that I'm wrong again. So, in this field we had an IUF BTR2, which I beat by less than a second, an Audi S4, so I at least managed to get one of the cars correctly, 2 Mercedes-Benz AMG E55s, and in 5th we had a BMW 840 Ci. But there we go. And officially the Nationals Championship of the GT League events is now complete. And obviously just gonna save the game, because I might as well do that. And of course I've already saved a replay, so obviously I don't need to do that again. So now of course, I'm going to check to be sure. Yep, I have got a replay. And so now of course we are going to move on. So, the National Championships section of the GT League events is now complete. And as a result of now completing the German National Championships, as well as every other championship, we are now officially up to 12.78% completion. that was the German National Championships. Next up is the FF Challenge. And will I make it a clean sweep? Probably not. But we shall wait and see how many attempts it will take us to win all 3 races. But of course, until then, stay tuned for more GT2.